Welcome to Build Your Dream Business, brought to you by Salon. More than just a booking app, we're a community for independent pros in hair, beauty and wellness. I'm Katrina, here to bring you closer to real stories of success from the industry's finest and share practical advice to help your business flourish. In today's episode, we talk to Lily McGlynn, owner of Elm Studio, about her journey from accidentally entering the nail industry to running a successful salon with a bold and colourful brand. We discuss growing a nail business through social media, finding a niche with unique nail art, and the challenges of running a salon. Welcome, Lily.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining us. We can't wait to hear all about the secrets behind your success. Why don't you kick off by taking us back to the beginning and telling us how you started out in the world of nails?
Okay, so I started nails 2.5 years ago, and it was completely accidental. I was not planning on becoming a nail tech. I actually never even thought about it, to be honest. I used to work in hospitality, and I ended up leaving my job on I quit. I'm not doing this anymore. And then I was like, I'm unemployed. What do I do? As you said, I live on the Isle of Wight, and my auntie is the island educator for nails. And she works for Ink London. So she's an Ink London educator. And obviously I was unemployed. So I just thought, okay, I'm going to have to do something. I did art A-levels, and I wanted to do something with that. I always wanted to do something creative, but I didn't really know what. So I ended up getting a part-time job, paying to do the course whilst also working. Did the course. I started training in January. I qualified in March, and then I rented a space in someone else's salon in April. So the whole process was only about 4 months.
That is insane. I can't believe you've only been doing it for 2 years.
I know, it's insane.
From not even knowing that you wanted to be a nail tech to running your own studio.
I've never looked back. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Obviously, you rented a space in someone else's studio. How did you get your first clients? How did you advertise? How did you get yourself out there?
So during training, I took pictures. I documented everything through my training. I just slapped it all on social media. If I look back at my social media page from the start, it is questionable, I'm not going to lie. But that's all growth. Do you know what I mean? A lot of my friends and my family were really, really supportive. I think a lot of people say that their friends and family are the least supportive clients they've got. Whereas for me, that just doesn't apply. My friends and family were the most supportive people ever. On my first day, I think I had 3 clients that were my family, 1 that was a friend, and 1 that was a complete newbie. Back in the day, this is really exposing myself, but I used to make and sell photo presets. So they were photo filters, pre-made. And I did that through lockdown to make extra money. And I had a little Instagram page for that, which had a few followers. And where we live on an island, I'm not gonna lie, there's hardly anyone here. I feel like I was known from doing that. So then once I made a nails page, everyone was like, oh, let me have a look at that.
So it was actually kind of taking the experience of building the social presence of another business that you then applied to your nails.
Yeah, I think so.
What were the takeaways from the preset business? What did you apply to your nail Instagram to get more clients through?
So on my presets Instagram, it was all about making that Instagram feed. Everyone wanted their pictures on their feeds to look perfect, and because I sold presets that made that Instagram feed look perfect, I guess everyone's like, yeah, love it. So now I still have that mindset when I do nails. I want my feed to look good, and it was just the same as when I did presets. I guess that's what I still do to this day. I think a feed is what people look at, and I know some people do struggle with it, but that is something that I look for. If it looks good, I'm going on it. I'm booking.
Yeah, you do have such a strong brand. It's very coherent, like you say, looking at looking at your feed, you can straight away tell what it is that you're all about, what kind of services you provide. It's just an absolute pleasure to look at. How did you come up with the wider branding of the business? Because that really feeds through into both your social media presence and your space.
Obviously, my business is Nails by Lily May. So original, please. So original. I just did that from day one. I was like, there was other nail techs in my area that were like Nails by, and I just thought, I'm going to do that.
You know who you're getting, you know the service, you know the person.
Exactly. So honestly, looking back, I'm like, so unoriginal, but what can you do? And then it was only once I decided that I was going to get a studio that I came up with LM. It's basically spelled ELEM, and my initials are LM, Lily May, Lily McGlynn. So it's just how my initials sound out loud, I guess. And I like that not many people know what it means. It's not like Lily's nail shop or Lily's anything. It's something that is me, but you don't know it is unless you ask.
And how about the visuals of it? Because everything's again very coherent. You know, everything's very bright, very bold. What was the thinking behind that?
When I decided to do nails, I was always so set on like finding my niche. I didn't want to be like anyone else. I wanted to just like put what's in my head, like what I see in my head, like splurged in front of you that everyone else can kind of see it. I think before I had the salon, when I was doing nails, it was very much a case of I'd use nails to show that. I always did like crazy nail art, and that's what I just enjoy doing. Don't get me wrong, never have it on myself. French tip girly, but I love doing it. And the clients that come to me for the nail art, they've not been able to find someone that does that. So I think finding my niche in that sense was what got the flow going initially. And then when I started LM, I was able to like decorate the salon exactly the same. So instead of doing it on little nails, I did it on like a much wider scale. I just want everything to be colourful, everything to be loud. When I started LM, there was no salon that was colourful and loud in your face. And that's what I would have liked to go to. I was like, I would love to go to a salon that was like colourful, a bit different. And there wasn't. It was all very clinical, which is great for some things. But for me, I was like, no, I don't. I need to do something different. And that is kind of what we did.
It is different, which is so powerful. It really, really stands out, both, you know, obviously as I've seen it on your social feeds, and it must stand out in real life hugely. Circling back to that actually very short time in between you know, learning your trade and then opening your own salon. How did that go? So you've learned to do nails. You started to rent a space. Mm-hmm. What was the journey from you renting space in somebody else's salon to then opening up a space of your own and having an amazing array of other practitioners working within that space?
Just as doing nails it wasn't planned. I think a lot of people could see opening a salon as like this big, daunting thing to do. But honestly, it was not planned. That was not the plan. I qualified to do nails in April, and I got the keys to my salon in the November. So like 8 months, I think it was. It was literally ridiculous. And everyone around me was like, Lily, no, come on now, you're being ridiculous. And I was like, no, guys, this is a great idea.
Was it like that time last year you hadn't even thought about quitting your previous job, and then now you're
My family were like, no, they're my biggest supporters, but even they were like, are you sure? And I was like, yes, guys, I can do this. It was just as little as me and my partner were walking through town, and there was just this little building, this little shop front that had a little to rent sign in the front. And I was like, I could do that. My partner was like, no, it's too soon, like one thing at a time. Because previously, so I started renting a desk in the other salon, and then maybe October, I went from renting a desk to renting a room in her salon, in which I decorated like LM studio is now, as loud and colourful, but it was honestly tiny. It was like a box. I thought that by getting my own room, I was going to feel so much better, and I didn't. I was like, this is just not cutting it. So it was a month after that I'd seen the shop, and I wanted to do my little room on like a much bigger scale. And I just thought, I could just go and view it. There's no harm in viewing it. I don't have to take it. I went to view it and absolutely loved it. I really thought that he'd be put off by the fact, I think I was 22 at the time, never owned a property, I'd never rented a property, I still lived at home. I'd only been in business for 8 months. And like any normal person would be like, no, like you're not the gal for me. But he was like, yeah, I'm all for supporting a small business. He was like, I can see you want it. And 10 days later, I had the keys.
Typically fast for you, no waiting around for anything.
And then I had from the start of December to the end of December to completely renovate the place. And to be honest, I didn't even have that much money. I was like, pretty much spent all my money on getting this salon done. Everything was done budget. Everything was done like DIY'd. We won it all. There was no like massive expenses spared. At the time, I thought I was going to go into the salon just me. I was like, looking back to my vision at the start, I thought, I'm going to go into the salon. It's going to be mine. Like, it's just going to be me. It's going to be all about me. Blah, blah, blah. I got my first girl that rented a desk from me because she was one of my clients, actually. And she also did nails. And we formed like quite a good friendship. And I'd said to her, I think I'm going to get a salon. And she was like, can I come? I was like, yeah, all right. So she joined. And then my boyfriend's brother's girlfriend, she did eyelashes at the time. And she was like, what about me? Can I come? And I had to completely change how I thought it was going to go, considering I thought it was just going to be me. But honestly, I could sit and talk about it for days. It's gone from 0 to 108 months.
Wow. So how did you work out the financials of it all? Because that must have been quite a daunting aspect of, just renting a room to, I see a lot more renting a whole salon space. What are the considerations behind that? How did you work out if you can afford it in the first place?
I think for me, where I'd invested everything, I didn't have a choice. Like I had to make this work in the sense of even starting the nails and renting the desk. It had to work because I didn't have another job. I just spent so much money on the courses and so much money on the products and the stock and uniforms and everything. I was like, this has to work. I was surprisingly really confident. Like I never felt nervous. I was like, this has got to work because I've got no other choice, to be honest. So financially, I think I was very fortunate. I came into the industry in a time when no one really did what I did in the area I lived in. So I was quite busy quite quickly. Complete random strangers would share my stories and would engage with my page. And I'm like, why? I have no idea. Love it though, but I have no idea. So I was always quite busy. And the rent that I paid for the desk compared to the room, I think there was only £25 a week difference. So from the upgrade from the desk to the room, I was like, it's a no-brainer. And then once I decided to move into the salon, initially I only took a section of the salon. Now, obviously I own it all, but at the time I only owned a section, and it was going to cost me a month an extra £150. And I was like, I can do that. The rent I was paying for a room was extortionate compared to what I was paying for the whole salon. Looking back, I probably worked way too hard. Like I was working ridiculous hours. I was working just to make sure that I could afford it, where it was just me at the start. However, as time's gone on, I now have other girls that rent spaces from me, which just takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
I think if you want it that much, if you want it bad enough, you'd do anything to make sure that that money gets paid.
Yeah. There's a lot of chat around things like pricing calculators, especially in nails at the moment. How do you work out your pricing?
When I started, I I had quite low confidence, like, in myself. I never thought I was as good as I was. I look back on pictures when I very first started, don't get me wrong, they're not great, but I was quite good. At the time, I really didn't think. I was like, oh my God, am I like rubbish? Are people just supporting me because they like me, not because I'm actually good at the job? Pricing wise, I just kind of looked at other technicians in my area who had maybe just started or on the same level as me, and I kind of just matched that, but like a tiny bit cheaper, which in the long run has actually not done me any favours, because I found it really hard to up my prices because I started so cheap. I feel like if I had believed in myself a little bit more, like believed in my work, I should have charged for what I actually was worth. Over time, I've put up my prices, but I don't use a calculator or anything. In my head, I'm like, oh, that set would be this much per hour. I don't know whether I do it hourly. I'm not too sure. Or like how much product is used. But I just feel like I just charge what I think I'm worth. In my area, I think the pricing for nails is quite low, and I think I'm worth more, but it's super, super hard to up your prices.
I mean, nail art is notoriously hard to price, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you manage it? Is it literally just on a per appointment basis?
At the start, I used to charge like a simple nail art and a detailed nail art price, but it's so hard to categorise different nail art, because some people could have like 50 things on their nails, whereas someone is still detailed, but it's not as detailed. And now I literally charge tiers. So I charge for every single thing that I put on the nail. So if you've got 2 hearts, I'll charge you for 2 hearts. If you've got chrome and 3D flowers, I'll charge you for chrome and 3D flowers, because then it means the people that have just had a little daisy are paying just for a little daisy. They're not being charged for the whole shebang. And my clients also think it's way more fair doing it that way, I think, because you're actually just paying for what you get.
And I think as a client, it probably makes you more confident to book in nail art because you know what you're paying for. There's not that kind of thing at the end if you think, oh, I've asked for this one thing and I booked tier 2, but is it actually going to be what I want? Am I then going to be given a bigger price? It's a nice way to do it.
I completely agree, because it's all on my Instagram, on my price list. It's like lists of dots, hearts, daisies, and you just choose what you've had and you can price it up yourself if you've got enough time. Most people are just like, charge me whatever, I'm not bothered. But if someone is a little bit like, oh, I want to know exactly how much, they can just work it out themselves, which I think is way more convenient. I think that like encouraging people to book because they know what they're getting.
Yeah.
And they know how much they're paying. There's no hidden costs. I'm not going to come at them with like, oh, well, you did have this, so I'm going to charge you for this.
Yeah, totally. That transparency is so important. And like the ease of the booking process for the client really gets them through the door.
For sure.
This podcast is brought to you by us here at Solo. If you're a self-employed beauty pro, Solo is the booking app that helps you not only manage your appointments, but also build your brand. With Solo, you can create your own personalised booking website where clients can easily view your availability, read your reviews, and even pay deposits up front, giving them a seamless booking experience and saving you valuable time. With everything from consultation forms to marketing tools all in one place, growing your dream business has never been easier. If you haven't checked us out yet, why not start your free trial today? Once you've got those clients through the door, how do you make sure they keep coming back time and time again?
I have no idea. I genuinely am like, guys, why are you choosing me? But I do think me and my clients do have a friendly relationship. I have clients that age from, 17 to 70. And I think when you come into my space, like into my salon, it's not when you walk into a salon, it's like, oh my God, everyone's looking at me. We're all just friends. And especially now there's 4 nail techs that work out the front. Everyone gets involved in each other's conversations. It's kind of just like a social. Everyone knows what's going on in each other's lives. And people actually look forward to their appointments. So I don't know whether it's because I form those relationships, which I do think some people discourage, but I love it.
Nice. It sounds like a great space. Just sounds like going to someone's living room. And
I've got clients that rock up in their dressing gown or their hair in a turban or in their slippers, just coming for a chat and a catch up, but you also leave with really cute nails.
And that's the beauty of running your own business, isn't it? You can decide exactly what the environment is like. You don't have to stick to any sort of norms. But I'm sure it also comes with a load of admin you have to do in the background. What's kind of been the biggest difference between renting a space from someone and actually running your own salon? There must be a lot more to do.
At the time of getting the salon, I was like, no, it's going to be easy. It's not going to be much different. It is so hard. It is so hard. And as I said, I've never rented a property before. I don't directly pay the bills. And now I'm the one that's in charge. And I don't know who let me be in charge, but I guess the only thing you have to do when you rent a chair is managing your own social media and your bookings. Because when I rented a chair back in the day, I never had a booking system. So I just used to manually take them. And that's kind of all I had to do. Keep on top of stock and stuff. And now I get the salon. There's so much more that comes with it. I do struggle. I'm like just constantly trying to stay on top of water. But I think the pros that come with it massively outweigh the cons.
How do you manage your time? How do you make sure that everything does get done? You are keeping your head above water. Do you have like a schedule of this needs to be done on that day? This is what I'm doing on that day.
From next year, I am going to prioritise getting that work-life balance because at the moment, I don't know what that is.
With what you've achieved in the space of a couple of years, no wonder you haven't had the chance to breathe.
It's so hard because when you've got a job that you actually love, doing all the admin and the invoices, the emails, the bills, the social media, the bookings, I love doing it because it's what I love. Like, that's what I need to do what I love. It gets a lot easier the longer you do it and a lot more in routine. Especially with the girls being in there, it helps me massively. I'm working on it. I've got a long way to go, but next year, my main goal is get that work-life balance.
You must have like a pretty decent social media routine in some way, shape or form, because everything's so coherent. You're always posting. There's always something going on. There must be some sort of strategy there at the moment.
In my head, I feel like it's a bit here, there and everywhere, but there probably is a routine, like subconsciously without realising. I try to post maybe 2 to 3 times a week. I try to film reels the best I can, but do they ever get edited and posted? Probably not. I do struggle with social media now when I never used to at the start. I do now because I'm busier in other areas. So I definitely do need to work on finding that balance because schedule wise, I just try and post as and when I can, but I go through phases of loving it. And all I want to do is film content. And all I want to do is edit pictures, post them. And then I'll go through like a block. I definitely need to come up with a balance, but I'd say my schedule is pretty much 2 to 3 posts a week, maybe a reel if you're feeling fancy that week.
I feel like everything you post is so interesting, like visually very, very interesting. The amount of times they're sitting in the office and we're just having a little scroll through, like, why do we expense a trip to the Isle of Wight to get to know that?
Come.
We want to come. But how do you, obviously you're very, very focused on nail art and it's all incredible. How do you come up with the ideas? Because it's all very unique. It doesn't feel like everything's just copied from someone else.
My regular clients can come in and just be like, I love this from this picture, this from this reel, and this from this. And you can just put it all together. I find it a lot easier with my regular clients that would have come at the start with picture every appointment. Then you get to know what they like. And with the point where we can just, I know what you like. And I've seen this and I'm like, you want this. So I enjoy that. A lot of time people do just bring pictures, reels, and surprisingly, items of clothing.
Really?
Yeah, like if someone's got this like pattern on their dress and they're like, I love that. That's quite common. I do like working from like seeing something to inspire me. where it's only because I'm so busy. If I could sit down and have 10 hours with this person, these set of nails would be fire. They'd be unreal. But when you haven't got that time, it is hard, especially for a new client to come in and go, do what you want. Because the part of me goes, I don't know what you like. I could do like these crazy 3D glitter clowns and you'd be like, what the hell is that? I just wanted a coloured French tip. So I think once you know your client, the inspo comes a lot easier. But with new clients, it's usually pictures.
That's so interesting. Yeah, of course. Even just from chatting to them more, you kind of learn more about their personality and what they would like.
Yeah.
What are some of your goals going forward? Anything exciting in the books?
Get that work-life balance next year. That is my own personal goal. My salon goal, we make and design our own cuticle oils.
Yeah, so cute. Again, like the packaging is just so on brand.
Oh, that's so cute. I want to do more of those. Maybe expand that. I don't know. I am very much at a point where I'm happy with my business and I do help the other girls with their businesses at the moment, which I also do enjoy. So next year I want us all to be in the same boat of like doing well, but all together.
Knowing your track record of just having an idea and going for it and making a huge success of it.
I think I just have like the most supportive community around me.
The amount of people that, you know, have ideas and think, oh, this would be cool. And, you know, walking past a salon space and think, oh, I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
To just go for it and make a success of it. That's cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
We normally like to finish our podcast episodes off with some quick fire questions. What is a beauty product you can't live without at the moment?
I'm going to have to say my Brood lip balm.
Oh, nice.
And it is so good for work as well, because then you don't get all the dust on your lips.
What's a beauty trend that you're loving at the moment?
Probably the 3D flowers. Very cliche, but I love it.
Oh, yeah. Very cool.
I love them.
What is a beauty trend you're not loving so much?
You're all going to hate me, but like the little dot flowers.
Oh, just the minimal.
Yeah, like the daisies done with the dots. They've got to go.
Do you have a favourite podcast or book or creator for business inspiration?
On Instagram, she's called C's Claws. Honestly, all of her nails I'm like, love. And I've followed her since day one of doing nails.
Oh, cool. We'll have to check her out. What are some business tools that you can't live without?
Love Lightroom. This is no promo, but obviously Solo. CapCut. What's it called? Like I want to say layout, that could be wrong, but it's where you can like organise your Instagram feed.
Makes sense for the girl with the nicest Insta feed I've ever seen, of course. What is one thing you do every day to keep your business thriving?
I guess just I work at it every day, every single day. There's not a day that I don't want anyone to put off by this, but there's not a day where I've like not put something into the job.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
It's going to be all right. Don't listen to anyone else. Don't listen to when people tell you not to do something. And literally everyone told me not to do it. And it's the best decision I've ever made. So just don't listen to when people tell you not to do it. Just do it.
And my next question was going to be one piece of advice you give to others trying to grow their business, but I'm kind of assuming that's the same.
Same thing. Just do it. It'll be all right. I think one thing I would have done at the start, which I do recommend to all my new girls, is to do constant educating. Do a masterclass with your favourite nail tech, because you learn the skills that you love. If you see someone's work and you love it, go and ask them to teach you a bit.
Nice. Love that. It's a great tip. What are your 3 top tips for building a unique brand for your business?
Number 1, find your niche. Find where you fit in, wherever that might be. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I feel like at the start, I made loads of mistakes and I never asked for help because I thought I was just rubbish. I was like, I don't want to tell anyone that I've messed that up. But if I would have just asked for help, I would have got where I wanted to be a lot quicker, I think. Number 3, probably just don't stop until you get what you want, whatever it is.
Love that. Thank you. What are your 3 top tips for producing engaging content?
Create the things that you would like to see. I like to keep it quite raw, quite personal, just so then you do form that connection with whoever's watching. Just spend some extra time on refining the content exactly how you want it. Because there's been so many times where I've put out content and been like, why did I do that? I could have done that so much better if I'd put more time.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Lily. Honestly, it's so inspirational. So nice to hear all about your journey.
Oh, thank you.
So nice chatting to you, Lily. Have a good day. Bye. Bye. Thank you for listening. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favourite podcast app. If you like the episode, why not leave a review or share it with a beauty industry friend? And if you're curious about Solo, you can download it for free on the App Store or Google Play and take advantage of our free trial.